On October 21st, IBJ unveils the 2025 Women of Influence. Join us to celebrate Indy's most inspiring leaders and hear the powerful stories behind their success. Don't miss this moment. Register now at ibj.com/influence2025.
This is Inside Indiana Business Radio on demand for Monday, October 6th, 2025. I'm Gary Dick. Elanco's new $200 million headquarters in Indianapolis brings a Fortune 500 company to downtown Indy and is viewed as the anchor of something much bigger. CEO Jeff Simmons believes the emerging One Health Innovation District will be a global hub for animal, human, and plant health.
I see a lot more buildings, a lot more innovation, a lot more talent coming to this site and to this whole statewide corridor of One Health. I see a lot more logos across this site of people bringing innovation from all over the world saying, hey, if I bring it here to Indiana, I can scale it, I can innovate it, I can get the talent around it, and then I can take it to the world's consumer.
Manufacturer SMC Corporation of America says it is relocating more than 200 positions from the company's California facility to its Noblesville headquarters, citing the cost of maintaining its West Coast operations. As part of that move, SMC will transition all operations of AP Tech from Napa to Noblesville following a 60-day transition period. SMC is Noblesville's largest private employer with about 1,200 employees. Forge ECI, the Regional Economic Development Organization for East Central Indiana, has named Kaitlyn Hancock as its new president and CEO. Hancock has been serving as an interim president and CEO since May, following the departure of former CEO Trevor Frydenberg. While serving in the role, she led the organization's rebranding efforts. From the state's #1 source for Indiana business news, you're listening to Inside Indiana Business Radio. Our Innovate Indiana series is on the move in October. Join us for Innovate Southern Indiana in New Albany, October 1st. Innovate South Bend Elkhart in South Bend, October 14th. And Innovate South Central Indiana in Bloomington, October 24th. The Innovate series is presented by Indiana University and Old National Bank. Each location will feature a powerful afternoon of ideas, innovation, and insight, and what's next for each region. RSVP now at ibj.com/innovate. Conflicts of interest, inadequate internal policies, and lavish travel spending headline the findings of a months-long forensic audit of the Indiana Economic Development Corporation.
Those findings have led to calls from State House Democrats for further investigation into the operations of the IEDC for potential criminal wrongdoing. Speaking to reporters Friday, Representative Ed Delaney called the report, quote, a good start, but he said the report left out important information and urged the General Assembly and the Governor's office to take the reins on holding the quasi-public agency more accountable. The audit highlighted the lack of conflict of interest procedures that resulted in many instances of the IEDC and affiliated nonprofits Elevate Ventures and the Applied Research Institute giving funding to groups that were associated with agency leaders or giving money to groups who had previously donated to the IEDC. However, the audit mentions a handful of instances where entities did not disclose certain documentation, and it redacts the names of a handful of individuals who donated large sums to the Indiana Economic Development Foundation. Before the audit was even released, the governor's office stated there were no criminal findings in the report, although the consultants say rooting out potential fraud was beyond the scope of their work. I'm Marek Mazurek for Inside Indiana Business Radio.
Stillwater Hospice has expanded its services into Steuben County, marking its first major geographic growth in several years, and extending nonprofit hospice care to a previously underserved part of Northeast Indiana. The Fort Wayne-based organization was founded in 1888, and the move brings Stillwater's service area to 13 counties across the region and positions it as the only community-based nonprofit hospice provider available to local residents. This is Gary Dick for Inside Indiana Business Radio on demand.
From breaking news to in-depth articles, discover the advantage of unlimited access to all news from IBJ and Inside Indiana Business with our limited time trial. Get started now at ibj.com/trial offer. Do you want to know what really drives change in Indiana? You won't find it in sound bites, you'll find it in stories. Stories from CEOs, lawyers, coaches, entrepreneurs, and community advocates. That's the IBJ Media Podcast Network. Insightful, local, impactful. Find all of our shows by searching IBJ Media in your podcast app or visit ibjpodcast.com.